There's never been anybody proven. I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their floor. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious.
Welcome everybody to Boxing Culture Podcast. Today we receive Dez, aka the Nose Hunter. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, what's going on, man? How's everything?
Everything's good. I mean, it could be better. I just got canceled my fight at the MSG, but you know what we can do.
So, like hearing that, right? Like, as long as I've known you, you've probably had about 4 fights that were like canceled, like last minute, right? Like,
yeah. So the first one was due to the pandemic. So, all right, this one is excusable. But then I think I was on the card of Teofimo.
Okay.
Got canceled. Another one at Backflip Center got canceled, and this one, Jake Paul fight again canceled.
So, like one of the fights I do remember is that your opponent failed medicals. So, like, can you go into like detail about that?
So, I mean, the whole story is public now. Thank God he's better, but he find out last minute, the night of the fight, that he got leukemia, like blood cancer type.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that was crazy. And, of course, I got in touch with the guy and we discussed, and I was wishing him the best. And thank God he recovered. His wife's pregnant now, so he's doing well. But what happened is because it was a last minute fight again, they find a last minute opponent. You know, you get him 1 week prior to the fight, you have to do all the medical. So all the medical didn't go through, and you wait until the last night of the fight until they find out that, oh shit, he cannot fight. He got some blood issue.
That's insane. I usually thought when you like do medicals, I'm not a professional. So I usually thought it's just like a blood test. They test it for PEDs. They do the CAT scan for the brain. Those medicals. I didn't know they were doing like cancer screenings and stuff like that. That's kind of strange.
It's not even cancer screening. It just happened that they do a blood test, and the blood test was coming back, they say, with alarming results. So they say, okay, we do a second blood test, and during the second, they find all those things.
Now, have you ever experienced a fighter being testing positive for PEDs? Blood testing has kind of always been the elephant in the room. Some guys don't like randoms.
So I definitely think I fought a guy that was on drugs, but not like PED, but like actual drugs. But it was more, it was back in Massachusetts, I think. And, over there, the drug test is not as strict as New York. New York is very strict. So you can't really, they're not going to allow all sort of things happening. But when you go other states, there is certain reason why Mayweather always fought in Nevada,
Oh, wow. I hear about, speaking about Nevada, look, they've been, I heard in Nevada in the state athletic commission, if you fail an A sample but pass a B sample, it's not published and it's not public, because we all know that drug testing is public when you fail it through the commissions. It's state record.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Nevada has its other issues besides drugs, taxes and, other things. But that is a good, key thing to think about. Why did Mayweather ever not go to, fight in New York or fight,
Yep.
I think he did. But you know what? He did fight Ricky Hatton. It wasn't in Vegas, though, right? Was it in England?
I don't know, probably, but I heard all of his fight mostly before the hand problem, because the story is that because he needed it like some special hand injection or whatever.
Steroid for the hand.
Yes, and that's why he was staying there. But I don't think he had problem at the Ricky Hatton time. Probably he came after, later in the career.
So, you being on that card, and this is like, the last major card I saw you were on Trilla. Now, Trilla is like an organization. It's a TV network that's really for like the entertainment industry in regards of music. We know fighting is entertainment as well, but it's really has a music background. How was it, doing business with Trilla and doing contracts with them, since they're not really having a long history in the boxing world?
So what they do, it's kind of a smart move. They associate themselves with DiBella, Louis DiBella, which is a promoter in New York for years, know what he's doing. So when I was dealing with Trilla, I was not really dealing with Trilla. It was more with the DiBella crew, Yeah. Then whoever put the show together, I think there was Trilla and whatever, but I deal with most of the DiBella people.
So it's like basically it's the same thing. Like we see the Zone, and they have like the it used to be the Ak and Barak show, but now you see them on Sirius, but really it's just the Zone and conglomeration with Sirius. So they let them use space and so forth. So that's understandable, because I was like, okay, how are fighters fighting on a network that's in the music industry? And it didn't make sense to me, but it does make sense.
I know I don't like to spit on people, but I heard on other side that it's a mess, like the way they handle things, and a lot of on the boxing side, it's a mess. They don't really know what's going on. So that's why when they did it in New York, they associated themselves with DiBella, because when they're on their own, apparently it's a shit show.
Now that, it's funny, everyone is trying to follow the Al Haymon blueprint. We all know Al Haymon came from the music industry. He dealt with Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, the Barge, you could name it. Al Haymon has been an advisor in the entertainment industry. And I think these networks are trying to do the Al Haymon blueprint, but Al Haymon has been prepped and primed, especially dealing with Mayweather and elite fighters to be able to operate in the world of boxing. I think a lot of people don't understand the business side. It's different than hip hop.
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, when you look at it, the business is probably different, but the concert event organization is kind of similar, because boxing is probably the only sport when you can get an event canceled last week. I mean, at least with my experience here in New York, I never heard, oh, the basketball game got canceled because XYZ, or except maybe COVID, But here in boxing, it's always been before COVID. Oh, this guy, he has this and that, or he's not happy with the contract, so we need to renegotiate, we need to push the date. But the truth behind all of this, what's happening really, and that's my third constellation, it's like when you don't sell enough tickets for a big venue, they have to find something. Right?
And the thing is, like, I was at the Danny Garcia versus Benavidez fight, and I saw, even with selling tickets, like they had an issue with selling tickets. There were a lot of empty seats. It was very, it's hard to promote because there's so many, network hiccups and advertisers and different things that get in the way. And it's kind of like the highest bidder, right, from things that you've probably experienced.
Yes, and like Backflip Center, I think is not a big deal compared to the MSG, because the Barclay is here, and if there is no basketball game or concert, it's available. MSG, there's always something, I feel like, there's always something going on in there. So the price is probably double, because Barclay is in Brooklyn, MSG is in Manhattan, price is maybe 3 times more expensive. And that's why you can play with the empty Barclay, but I don't think you can play with the empty MSG.
Yeah, MSG is way a larger arena. It's multiple arenas in one building. And you have, and speaking about yourself being a light heavyweight, another light heavyweight, Orville Crooks, was supposed to fight on your card, on the same card you're going to be on. Now, how does this work? Now he's a brand new prospect. He's up and coming. He just came out the amateurs, and now yourself being kind of a veteran light heavyweight, it's kind of strange though to have the same weight class competing, multiple fights. Do you think the card was kind of thought out right, or they just kind of pieced everything together?
They just took whoever was available. I think that's how they did it. Because I think there were like three New York fighters, including myself. There was Orville, myself, and Brian Ceballo. I think I've seen that was the guy, I don't remember his name, but Lee, from Vegas, I think.
Brandon Lee?
Yes, this guy was on the card too. I was supposed to fight Joe Ward. And the rest was Serrano and then Jake Paul. So it was a small card.
Now, it's a very strange card because Joe Ward now trains out of New York. He trains under Joey Gamache. You know Joey Gamache. You've trained in the same gyms that he's in. Isn't that kind of like a conflict of interest kind of in a way when with the matchmaking? It's now things go to decision, right? Like
I sparred with Joe Ward, so we know each other. There is some conflict of interest, but at the end, it's just a sport. I don't care. Like, I want to fight. You want to bring me a good opponent, and that's what I'm looking for. He has a good ranking. I need to be ranked because I've been fighting nobodies, and I've been stagnant in my career. So I need something that's going to push me forward. So that was the fight I needed. Fortunately, it didn't happen again, but my time is gonna come, you know.
Now, do you feel, and this is a strange era in boxing, because if we go back 25 years ago, dudes that were in their early 20s and mid 20s, you know, you had the Chavezes, you had the Pernell Whitakers, the Buddy McGurks. These guys in their early mid 20s were already like top prospects. Now you have guys that are in their early 30s and mid 30s that now are just starting to ascend because of the boxing politics that's been going on. And it's not even that the fighters are afraid. Like I was speaking to a guy, I went to the final press conference with Danny Garcia versus Jose Benavidez, and he was like, "Oh well, you know, some of these fighters are scared," and I'm like, "Well, no, you wouldn't step in that ring and get that pro license, you know, and put those 10-ounce gloves on if you 10 or 12 ounce, whatever it might be, depending on your weight. If you're terrified, it's really terrified promoters because you might experience yourself. You know, guys see you around. They say like how dangerous you could be to, let's say, a 22-year-old coming out the amateurs, and they say, okay, well, for your age and you've been around, you have a good record. If you spoil this prospect, we just lost 20 years of money.
Yep. Yeah, man. That's how they think now, unfortunately. Like it's not a men's sport. It's not it's all ruled by promoters. And I think that's kind of killing the sport because those promoters, they're like, all right, this guy doesn't meet this guy until this guy fought this guy. But we don't care. For the public, when you look at the MMA, they put like a full card and all the fight are exciting because there is like competition. When you go to those fights, except the main event, you know already who's going to win on the undercard. And that's boring for the public. Do you want to sell tickets that cost like $3,000 ringside?
Yeah.
Bring some excitement. You know, the public, they're coming and they say, okay, you can tell who's going to lose already, you know?
Now, the crazy thing is too, you know, with your record, you were coming up around the same time as Buatsi, Yard, you know, other fighters that are from Europe like yourself. And it's so much division between sanctioning bodies and countries and stuff. Do you feel now it might be a time to have a boxing union, like a fight union, not just for boxing, but for MMA, to kind of negotiate, mediate, you know, giving fighters guaranteed fights a year and penalties for sanctioning bodies or organizations that do last minute cancellations because of the prep you did, the money you spent, and maybe compensated? What do you feel?
That would be the dream. That's what I tried to do when I was putting my boxing culture. When I created that, I tried to get people involved. I'd reach out promoters, manager. But what they do, they stay away from the project because they're like, hey, no, this guy is trying to cut all of us. If you cut the manager, the middleman, and all of this, and you try to put rules and sanctioning bodies, that mean that they're going to have a serious, they're going to be looked at and they're going to see the method that they use is going to be trouble for them, and there's going to be less money. More money for the fighters, but less convenient for promoters and manager, it goes against their business. You know, their business is to make money on us, the uneducated, the people that don't know what's going on in, you know, the politics of boxing, or don't want to know, or don't have time to focus on it. I had a lot of time because a lot of things happened to me, so I looked deeper into the matter. But most of the fighters, they have no idea, and it's better for the promoter that those fighters don't know. But the dream would be this: we need some sort of union. If we can have someone like Jake Paul, because a lot of people are talking shit about Jake Paul, but you know what he did for this fight? He took $1 million of his paycheck, divided it for the undercard. That was going to be the biggest payday of my career.
And that's insane because, you know, one thing I will say, you know, I did criticize Jake Paul. You know, I felt it was a mockery of boxing. Myself being a late starter, himself being a late starter in boxing, who came from another type of sport, I really had to look back at it and be like, yo, you know what? The MMA world was talking very, very crazy for many, many years. So more than 10 years about boxing and not being exciting, and boxing's dead. And you know what? He put 3 MMA fighters on the canvas. You know, Tyrone Woodley, a champion in UFC, and he made him look like nothing. So we definitely have to give him respect. Now, this situation with himself and Hasim Rahman Jr., it's what's your opinion about it? Because it's like one side is saying one thing, that, you know, it's about the weight, they try to drain us, they didn't agree, and then on the other side is like, well, we agreed to cruiserweight 200 pounds, and he did not keep up with the commission. The commission was asking a week to week how much weight, and he said, oh, he only lost 1 pound in 2 or 3 weeks. What do you say about that?
I think that's bullshit, because one day before this announcement, I was listening to the podcast. I think it was the Boxing Voice or something, when he was saying my weight is good, I'm this weight. So basically he was saying that he's ready to go. He has a nutritionist. He's been on a track. He's been running on a track, and he never done that before in his career. So the guy is losing weight, training hard, and this and that and this and that. So that's bullshit. Whatever they say, didn't make the weight, didn't meet the requirement, is just either an excuse because Jake Paul is scared. He's like, oh shit, the guy is ready. I didn't expect that. Or they didn't sell enough ticket, which is, I think, what also could be one of the big reasons. And, like Dana White said, you need 500,000 just to turn on the light at MSG,
Of course. I mean, that's just the entry fee. And you're not counting the other amount of money with, everything that goes involved with using the space. I mean, you got
paying the fighters, the staff, the medical, this, that, it's a lot of money.
Then you have, when you have the doctors, you have a medical director. I'm a former EMTB, and, even us, we had to go answer to medical direction. So medical direction is there, just like, yourself. I mean, how many times you've went to the doctor?
Yep.
Behind there, and the guy, even in the amateurs, that's, off a retired physician or someone like that, and that guy has to get paid. He might want to get paid. If it's in Vegas, he might want to get paid $50,000 for the night. He may get paid $60,000, $70,000 for the night. Depends how big the venue is. Sometimes higher. The announcer, right? So it depends on how experienced the ring announcer might be. We already know what's the guy that says, "Let's get ready to rumble." What's his name?
Buffer.
Yes, exactly.
Michael Buffer.
Michael Buffer wants $1 million just to say that.
Damn.
So now there's other factors. I do think it's ticket sales. They both know each other. See, this is the thing a lot of fans don't understand is, and I feel this, I'm not behind the scenes, but I feel that a lot of people are friends. They couldn't build the fight big enough, I think. And I think both parties came together and said, you know what? Rahman just got knocked out by Morrison's son, Tommy Morrison's son. And they have fears about being drained. So we already know when a fighter comes off a knockout, then he has to lose weight to now get back down to weight. Now he's drained. That leaves him more open to getting concussions and getting hurt. Now, Jake Paul is like, okay, well, this is my first official skilled boxer that has a good amateur pedigree. We don't have time. And if there is a supposed loss, we lose on both ends. We lose profit, and I lose my reputation to get more fights.
Credibility, yeah.
So, both parties could have, and it's behind with lawyers, both parties could have possibly said, you know what? Jake Paul's thing said, well, we're going to run with the scared narrative. We'll pay you $350,000. You'll run with it. And then so forth. The boxing is a very, very interesting sport, even when it comes to sparring. I'm not, trying to hook up fighters with different fighters to spar around the country. Sometimes some coaches are really, really nervous. Some coaches are really nervous because they think that you might be a threat. They do your homework. That's why social media is so big. Like, you'll have people that look at, even underground, like me, I work with underground guys. So guys will go look at your page and they'll see little things. And then, they'll be like, no, we're not going to do it.
Yep. I mean, it's also, that's all another problem in the boxing world is like a lot of trainers. I think that was the case for my former trainer, don't want to look bad. They don't want the fighter to look bad because indirectly that make them look bad. So if someone comes for sparring and it's maybe same level, maybe a little better, trainer's just going to say, oh no, we don't need this work, just because of ego or whatever the reason is. But that's most because the fighters ask by anybody, me. Since I'm like kind of free agent, I went all the gym in New York. I went to New Rochelle. I go everywhere. I went to France. I went to fucking everything. So, I don't think it's a fighter issue. Me, I don't care if you look good, if you're going to beat me up. Marcus Brown beat me up. So what? And, I have no shame. If you don't go through this, you're not going to progress. You're not going to stay, you're not going to get better if you stay in your comfort zone. It's impossible. you know.
I mean, even myself, like being an amateur late starter. I mean, sparring Giovanni Scuderi.
You spar all of us, or you spar all top level, and I'm sure you beat a lot of like elite amateur today because you went out of your comfort zone, you know.
But that comes with old school coaching, right? Like you have to understand this too. Like we don't have, and I'm not saying that a lot of coaches are teachers, but we don't have a lot of teachers from an old school cloth. Like shout out to my guy Mustafa Meekins, Coach Mustafa on Instagram that everybody knows, a popular coach. And people criticize him. They said, well, why did you throw Mack Truck in there after winning his belt and with a guy that's 17-1 that just lost the contendership for the heavyweight championship against the dude that Dubois just beat. The fighter. Yeah, Dubois just beat him, but Gildry just lost it by a decision, and Mack Truck was only 9-0. You know, and he took his first loss. I think it's 8-0, whatever it is. And, you know, the criticism was like, well, why'd you rush him so much? You should have been like this. And I believe I was talking to Mustafa about it. I was like, people don't understand is that you don't want to keep the fighter in the chitlin circuit, right? Like, So for instance, I work with underground guys. Some guys are good. Some guys have a lot of experience. Some don't, you know. For me, it's cardio, but there's levels to boxing. You get what I'm saying? I've been wanting to spar. When I first met you at Mendez, I've been wanting to spar. I started boxing at 25. I'm about to be 35 next month. So I said, well, only way I'm going to get better is be in front of technical guys that I've seen sparring. I used to get excited seeing different guys. I wanted to spar Joe Ward as well because I watched him spar Orville Crooks and different people. And I said, wait a minute, I didn't spar everybody that, you know, Coach Ness had. So I said, okay, well, why not him? My coach always told me from an old school mentality, you got two hands, he got two hands. Just come in shape. If you don't feel 100%, even 85%, don't spar.
Yeah, simple as that.
Now, do you feel traveling in France, do you feel that might just be a future for you as of becoming a champion, maybe intercontinental? You know, you have very skilled fighters in Europe and England and France, like we have the fighter Yard just beat London Arthur. He beat Yard the first fight. Yard beat him the second fight. Do you feel like you might have to end up going into that mix because you guys are peers?
Yeah, I mean, if nothing happened for me here, which has been the case for a long time, between cancellation, people avoiding me, whatever, that's what I'm going to end up doing, you know.
And I know you started a campaign to possibly fight Buatsi.
So what happened is they called me during pandemic, last minute. They called me, it was August, all the gym were closed. They're like, hey, you want to fight Buatsi with a 2-week notice for 10 or 12 rounds with shit pay, really shit payday. I say, okay, you see whatever money you propose me, I think I asked like 6 times more. I say, you give me 6 times this and maybe I take the risk. And then I never heard from them. And then when I got ready, I got back, I started to, you know, try to do something on the internet, try to get the attention of his managers, of his staff, and they never get back to us.
Now, the strange thing about it is that, you know, and a lot of people don't realize, I told people, I said, do you know that there were fighters that were on one of some of Mayweather's undercards that got paid $1,500? You know, people think because a fighter might be on TV, they might be on an undercard, that they're getting paid this elaborate amount of money. You say, well, Floyd Mayweather made $70 million, $80 million. So the undercard, they have to be making money. But Floyd makes his purse because he's the draw. And then everybody under here, some guys get paid 500. Some guys, even for myself, if let's say I want to go pro, I want to have 6, 7 fights, I want to be on an undercard, I might have to fight for free.
Yeah, for sure. But and that's why I want to come back to Jake Paul. Can you imagine Mayweather making 20 or even Canelo making 20 millions? Like, take 500,000 and divide it for this undercard. You know what it is. I mean, I don't think those fighters know what it is to be struggling fighters because they started already with the people behind them to push, like, you know, the career the right way.
Yeah, Disney.
Yeah, exactly. But fighters like us, fighter like me, I haven't made any money from boxing, you know, and like whatever Jake Paul is doing, that's what we need. When there is a main event and the guy is taking more than $1 million, it should be mandatory that he take, let's say, 2 or 3% of this to give it to the fighters under.
Now with Amanda Serrano, he gave Amanda Serrano the first time $1.5 million, $500,000 for the fight itself, and $1 million on top. $1 million at first for the fight, and then $500,000 on top. And I thought that was a commendable thing, and he gained my respect for that, because Amanda Serrano is a 7-division world champion, and she's gotten fight purses as small as $15,000, $5,000. 10,000, and this is a champion we're talking about. We're talking about a world champion. We're not talking about someone in the chitlin circuit. She's for elite competition. She trains hard. So, back to the boxing unions, I think it can work, but you have to play politics, just like other labor unions, right? I would love to construct something like that, where it's like, okay, let's start off with situations like, rest in peace to Patrick Day, who passed away, right? Health insurance, life insurance pools, fighters that we see that are veteran fighters that are homeless. You have fighters that are homeless that were, champions. I went to the Wilfred Benitez fundraiser. He's not doing too well. And, you're talking about, he fought against the greats. He fought against, Hearns. He fought against, Ray Leonard. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden fighters need money. I think that the unions would help, where fighters out there purse, a certain percentage could go to union dues. Yep. Whoever fighters may sign, and then maybe doing certain things with the WBC, maybe tightening up the rankings, right? So, yes. So where, okay, the best of the best can fight. And even if you're not the best, you still can be put on different cards. Everyone makes money at the end of the day. Because now what's happening is that there's a lot of stalemates in boxing. I see more arguing with fighters on social media than at weigh-ins.
Yeah, exactly. At the way, and everybody losing that energy. But what you say is very interesting. Like let's say if we should have rules, I came with that idea of, depending of the number of fights that you have, we have different brackets, right? Let's say you have between 0 and 5 fights, you should get paid this amount minimum, because those promoter managers, they take advantage of boxing has no regulation, right? Yeah. No minimums. So when you come, they're like, okay, well, what do you think about this amount? And if the fighters say yes, which most of the time they do because they need money, like the journeyman. Yeah. Like sometimes the promoters, they have way more to give, but they're just trying. Sure. Or like sometimes, so I have an agent that works for me. He's very honest. He's always telling me, hey, Fred, they propose this amount. And then I have other agents in France that don't work for me, but they kind of do their own matchmaking to make money. So let's say my agent say, okay, there's this fight, 10,000. This other agent is going to call me, hey, Fred, do you want to fight for 7,000? I'm like, what happened to the other 3,000? That's the same fight, exact same fight. It's like, you want to fight this guy? And I'm like, okay, that's how they make their money. So that's, first of all, there should be transparency. When a promoter organizes this, there should be, okay, this is the budget for the fight. This is the budget for this, for fight 1 to fight 0, like, from the undercard to the top main event. And so there is no cheat. There is no fighter getting taken advantage of and things like that,
And it actually might make the promoter save money. For instance, you said a fight through 1 through 5. It could be a minimum of $500, and the ceiling, it can be as high as whatever, plus ticket sales or whatever it might be, but the minimum is 500. So then you go from 5 to 10, and you can say, okay, well, the minimum will be slightly under, it'll be like 5 to 7,000 or whatever it might be, 5 to 15,000 plus percentage of ticket sales. That could be something arranged with unions where it makes both parties happy, where the fighter comes in and be like, okay, well, do you really want to do this? Now, what happens now with that, you start weeding out a lot of fighters in boxing that are just there for the check, and they're not really passionate about it, right? But then you have promoters who, it balances out. Promoters that are shady, they're going to go this way, and fighters who are not really passionate about it and doing it for a check and will take a dive and do whatever, they go over here. Yep. But back to the dive situation is that, we've seen many instances, especially in the 80s and 90s, where there was a lot of people taking dives. There was one guy that went on I forgot his name, but he went on a talk show. I think it was Geraldo or something like that. But he basically talked about taking money and taking dives and made a career out of it.
Wow, that's crazy.
So when you see these guys fight these guys that are, 3 and 56, there's nobody ever questions and say, wait a minute, like, what about the medicals? If this guy's been knocked out 16 times, he shouldn't even be allowed to fight, right?
You see, that's what I'm saying. Boxing is super corrupt. So if nobody like take a look at what's going on, it's never going to change. And that's also why they don't want it to change, you know?
And that's why, myself, going into media and also having experience being in gyms, sparring MMA fighters, boxers, kickboxers, it's crazy that boxing actually is the highest paid sport. So that makes me more weary about MMA. MMA, you got to worry about takedowns, joint injuries. The more joint injuries in MMA, right? So when you look at Dana White, they're like, wait a minute, how did John Jones only make a few $100,000? This guy's top draw, right? So it's like, what? So what's under these type guys, Nagano and all these guys? Where, like, how much are these guys making? Are these guys making $50 a round?
The problem is so we say MMA guys are not paid well, but the thing is, the difference with boxing is that all the undercards are paying, they pay a good average compared to boxers. So when you start as a boxer, like you say, you may box for free or maybe $500, but it doesn't happen in MMA though. So top level MMA, they make shit money compared to top fighters in boxing, but the average middle, like pro debut, they make their money, legit money,
like 3,000, 5,000, even on the first fight if they sell them
even more. Yeah, even more.
I mean, but maybe I would compare it to maybe sports like kickboxing, right? Like Glory and those type of things where they can't even sell out the Hulu theater. They you got tickets of, no disrespect to Glory Kickboxing or Muay Thai, but you've got professional fighters where there's a top guy, top card, and he's making like $3,500 because most of it's from his ticket sales. It's like the promoter's going to make money, but the organizations don't even have enough to even pay for the space. So I think the unions have to be maybe for the whole entire fight world where there could be some type of, fair negotiations around the board and people are not trying to hide things.
I don't think it would be beneficial if everybody get together. I think there's too many differences. I don't know if MMA is as corrupt as boxing because boxing is very old sport, right? And things haven't changed. I mean, when you read the book of Cus D'Amato, he's talking about the mafia getting involved, like how the mafia was coming to his gym to get his fighters and try to, it's a lot of he's talking, I think it was the IBF or some league that built, like how they was corrupted and infiltrated by the mafia and things like that. So because it's always been these practices, I don't think it's like that in the MMA because it's more recent. Yeah,
I've seen it. I mean, I'm not going to say the fighter corner that I worked as a second corner. That influence is everywhere across even hip hop, right? Like I interview people who are different hip hop artists and athletes. You can't, like, I'm not going to say like it's a certain group of people, but you can't escape that. It's in all directions, right? So, I mean, I've personally witnessed a certain fighter who paid a fighter who I cornered. They were supposed to fight for $5,000. So before the fight, they got $2,500, and then on the back end, if he got the knockout, he got another $2,500. But if he didn't knock him out, he got like 1,000 something, 1,200 or something they negotiated. And I remember when the fighter got out the ring, the old fighter, we both know this fighter, veteran kickboxer, and he beat the guy. He knocked him out, stopped him with leg kicks, and fans was there. They was trying to, say hi to him, and he just had a lot of anxiety. He got out the ring and was like, yo, where's my money? Went to the back, got the money. I was there and, kept it moving. You have to understand this too. Like a lot of, I say MMA and kickboxing is more corrupt because kickboxing and MMA are the only two sports where a guy can operate as a professional without a professional license. It's like a racket, right? For instance, you became a professional. You had to have someone co-signing. You had to show your amateur book. Your amateur book couldn't be more than 5 years old. And a coach had to write for you.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Like when I fought kickboxing, I fought and got paid off for ticket sales. It's a lot of, the examinations are a little suspect, and, take a deep breath. whatever, mash your
Hey,
hand. Like
you good to
amateurs.
go.
Yeah, and USA Boxing has, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you go through USA Boxing, it's more strict. It's like headgear, certain you know headgear and certain your facial hair and the whole spiel, right?
Yeah.
Kickboxing is not like that. We had an option where it's like, hey, do you guys want to fight K1 rules or Glory rules? Shin guards or no shin guards?
Elbows.
Yeah, elbows, right?
You know.
It's kind of strange when you go to organization bodies. It's like they say, oh, okay, he had this many fights, he doesn't have to throw elbows yet. But if you go to this organization, it says, oh no, all is permitted. And then you can fight a guy in kickboxing like me on my first go. Yeah, he might have had 5 or 6 fights here, but in Europe, he's probably had 30, 40. And for me to still be a light heavyweight and give a cruiserweight hell says a lot. But that's the type of corruption that goes on in MMA and kickboxing, where, like in boxing, you got people that had fights that's not even on BoxRec. How many fights you see guys that are not even on BoxRec? This guy might be 20-6, right? 20 wins, 6 losses on BoxRec, but he's really 32-8 because he's going down to West Virginia or someplace that's not as regulated. So this is why I think about it, right? I'm not boxing. See, the corruption is old school.
Mm.
If I fail a drug test, let's say a sample in New York, and I didn't, only reason why I fail it is through the sanctioning body, but I didn't fail it under the commission because I get my license last minute. So if I got popped for steroids, okay, WBA, WBC, IBF, they have their own ways of handling it. Okay, cool. I can't compete with you guys, but I can go maybe with a lower tier or unsanctioned and still steep my way into the commission over here because I never got popped and busted by any commission in the country because all commissions kind of work together. They'll look at you like for instance, like you have a driver's license, right?
Mm.
If I get my license suspended in New York, I can't go run to Illinois and drive because as soon as I go to DMV, it's it. And that's kind of how it is a boxing. So the corruption is more simpler and more predictable. MMA is like, you don't know if this guy's on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
They can opt out for VADA and USADA, even with any of these sanctioning bodies in kickboxing. But it's been a standard in all the major sanctioning bodies in boxing to go with those companies. That's why, you ever heard of One Championships?
Yeah. The thing in Asia, no?
Yeah, exactly. So they have always had a reputation for being very, very lenient when it comes to drug testing. This is what they say. And this is why I said One Championship is very suspect for MMA and UFC is always going to be top dog. It's like a fascist country, right? A communist fascist country, right? One dictatorship controls the whole game. One championship's trying to get in here. So they said, well, we're a Japanese company and we want to go off of people's code of values, right? Like when you're from Europe, right? When you get on the bus, you could pay or don't pay the honor system.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that what's the black dude that's a heavyweight, the bald head guy that's ripped to the gills? He's 47 years old. He's a kickboxer, the MMA guy. He's got a bald head. He starts. It's a black dude that's in One Championships. Very ripped.
No idea.
Split. He can kick this high. He's 47 years old. And I said, wait a minute. This guy doesn't even look like he has an off season between fights. He didn't lose one bit of definition, bulked up, everything. I said, why does he not go to UFC? He doesn't go to UFC because the testing is different. You know what I'm saying? So the boxing corruption is more spread out, and I think the MMA corruption is a little bit more in-house and a little bit more tighter. So they gotta be a little bit more sneaky. But the mafia thing is in that. I mean, do you notice that in Europe?
In Europe, it's more like cheap politic moves. Like they don't have enough money to corrupt anybody. I'm sure it happened to very small level because it's mostly like how you call that? Everything is from the city. When there is a fight organized, it's like the city hall of this city is gonna make money. It's very social. It's like that's why boxing doesn't go nowhere in France. It's always the same thing. It's like the city is going to support this gym that has this fighter, so they're going to sponsor it to organize a fight, but they don't have a lot of money, so we have to make someone from Bulgaria because they take less money. So like make, you know what I mean? It's kind of like if all the fight they would take like cheap fighters from South America and they're paying them less, which happen also in the state. But in France, that's how it is. There's no money in boxing. It's all government money to organize fight and shows. There's no private promoter. There's like, I think there's only one or two, but even like that, they're cheap. They don't have money.
And that's insane that you say that, because it reminds me of like, I started off like an entertainment industry. Like I did background work and feature work on TV, and it's like going to different sets, dealing with different casting agencies, right? Like, you know, some people, they'll pay you the minimum of $75 a day, non-union, to work this. They want more non-union than union. And, you know, they'll pay you in food, right? So Europe, it seems like the euro is worth more money, but the problem is that you're not getting paid because they're not keeping you active, and then they want to pay you in a nice hotel stay. They'll give you free meals. So I guess from what you experience is probably they'll break everything up in contracts. So, oh, room and board, everything, food. So basically, they're basically not paying you. They're paying you in like amenities, right? Like in America, they're not going to give you a hotel.
Yeah, sometimes they do it. They don't care. Like me, I was given a hotel room, everything, like for this fight, even though I live in the city, you know.
Well, so, and did that come out now? Would that came out your purse on the back end, or is this
nothing to do with my purse? Nothing. If I would ask them, please, if you, I don't need the hotel, put it on my purse, they would say no. It's they have a deal with the hotel. You know what I mean?
I understand, because there's a whole, because you know I do like press conferences and stuff like that, media, and they go to certain two hotels. They have one fighter goes here, the other fighter goes here, and yeah, I've seen that. I didn't know how that really worked, because I'm like, okay, well, let's say Top Rank, for instance, like all the Top Rank fighters go to these hotels either in Brooklyn or Manhattan. I didn't know that they were all paid for.
Yep. Every fight they proposed me, like my last fight, same thing. I stayed the night of the fight. I stayed at the hotel. I was like, I'm not gonna go back home. I live in Brooklyn. I was like, I'm gonna stay here. It's cool, chill. I don't want to take the train or cab or whatever. So I use the room every time.
So their reason to do that is to kind of keep you relaxed, so that when you eat, rest.
They make it convenient. So like that's the good thing about promoters, like you know, DiBella and whoever was on this last show. They take care of fighters sometimes, you know.
Now with you know, you making weight, right? Like, because it's different in amateurs. I think a lot of people who just watch boxing, they don't see, like, when you make weight, you get off the scale. Now, I know from seeing fighters, the first thing they do is run out the building and they go get something to eat and go hop to bed. How is it for you that night before the fight, like saying you're in the room and you got to rehydrate to eat? Is there a certain way that you have to, like, basically, like, eat, like, not cram too many calories, or is it like a certain schedule that you follow?
I kind of go freestyle, but I don't eat like bad food. I eat only like, first I'm going to reload in glucid, like in how you call it, carbs, glucose. So carbs, a lot of carbs. Like I would eat pasta, whatever, sweet potato, all sort of things. I really abuse it, right? A lot of sweet potato and pasta. Then comes some white protein, chicken, things like that. But the first thing I do before even doing this is I rehydrate. I get like organic Pedialyte coconut water, and you sip it every 15 minutes. You sip. You don't go all at once, otherwise you're gonna have diarrhea and stuff like that. So you sip it. Maybe I do 1 or 2. If my weight cut is more than 10 pounds, I'm gonna do 2. If it's just 10, I just do 1, and some water and coconut water. A lot of fruits, watermelon, grapefruit, oranges, all like watery fruits. And at night I do like raw vegetable, like salad and things like that. But you know, I'm not gonna go eat a pizza or a burger like I see a lot of fighters doing, you know.
So do you feel stamina wise that kind of benefits you? Because I never really seen you really fatigued. I mean, the fight on Trilla that you had, I didn't see you pull the trigger as much because it was such late notice, and they only gave you like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to really prepare for that fight.
I was having Thanksgiving dinner, eating my turkey and everything the Thursday before the fight. That was next Thursday, because the fight was not even on a weekend. The fight was in the middle of the week, which was offsetting my whole kind of timing when I do my weight cut and everything, because they call me this Thursday night for the next Thursday night. So basically, I'm eating my turkey and my friend, we're having dinner, dessert, whatever. I receive an email. We want to fight next week. And I'm like, damn, man, it's been 2 fights canceled. I haven't fought in 2 years. Fuck it, I take it, And I went with 1 week notice and I took the fight.
And the crazy thing is, so when that happens, and this is what a lot of fans have to, should learn, is that so when that happens, the pressure is kind of on, right? Like, for me, I took in things on very short notice. Fights I've had 3 or 4 fights canceled myself because I was about 1 American rules kickboxing and 3 regular kickboxing, and the MMA guys pulled out, thanks to social media. But they said, oh, he's got hands. You can't. No way.
You don't mess with this guy.
Yeah, because then you can't kick. So when you have that going on, do you do because I know I had to make weight, and is it just like the next morning or whatever, you just go out and run and you get the 2 gallons of water?
I had no choice. It was crazy. The next day, so I was like, it was the middle of dinner. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. We're here. I'm not going to stop eating. Let's keep enjoying. So I keep enjoying myself with my friends. Next day, went for 6 miles, 10K, run, gym, hardcore. I push really hard. And starting on Saturday, I load up on water. Do the 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 3 gallon, and then cut it on Monday. So Saturday, Sunday, I load up on water. Monday, Tuesday, I cut half and I cut the weight. And it was like a 15 or 20. No, wait. I was not 195. Yeah, that was a 20 pound for 175.
And the thing about it is that first run, it had to be grueling. I mean, you wind, everything. I mean, because your body now, like even myself, even just going out last night, like I haven't ran in a long time. So I said, okay, 3 a.m, I did lift, whatever. Let me go on the treadmill and run this mile under 8 minutes, just to push myself.
Oh, it was nowhere close to 8 minutes. It was 9 something.
Okay.
But because I couldn't. I was like, fuck, man. Like I was heavy. I don't like to run heavy like this. I can't move fast.
So now, do you call people for emergency sparring, right? Let's say, do you call contacts, or is it just whoever you got access to?
Whoever was there, man. It's like less than a week, because the weigh-in is on Wednesday. So it's Thursday night. So we're Friday and my fight is next Thursday. So I have less than a week. So I did 1 sparring, I think, on Saturday. Sunday, light work, running and stuff, and same thing, and up to the fight. Didn't spar.
Now, how did your legs feel, that you crashed into running like that? Like even me, not even running that much. Like I'm sore. I'm a little sore. Not too bad. But were you had to take a Epsom salt bath or something like that, just crashing your body like that in a week?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And I was pretty beat up because the weight loss, the stress, pushing my body like this 1 week before the fight. It was a mistake I would never do again, but I don't regret it, because that one on my record opened a lot of doors and gave me a lot of other calls that I was not receiving before. Because when I was undefeated, it's like, who is this 12-0 southpaw, 10 knockout? We don't want to take that risk, right? So now they see, oh, he got the first guy that has a okay record, he get beat. It's like, okay, this guy is just bullshit. So now everybody's calling me thinking that's going to be easy work. So I'm like, okay, let's do it, guys. And so that's why I've been on this card, because they're like, oh, okay, they take me for granted, thinking oh, this guy's done. So I'm just waiting to prove that I'm still here,
That's insane, man, how the mentalities in boxing have stooped so low when it comes to a fighter taking a loss. We've had our favorite fighters, Mike Tyson, was 50 and 6, I believe, or 50 and 6. Manny Pacquiao was 62 and 6. Now today, man, a guy loses, take a loss, he's automatically a bum. He should retire.
Yeah.
3 fights. Like when people talk about Adrian Broner, I said, okay, Adrian Broner has some few setbacks, but he's a 4-division world champion. And, they thought at one time he was the next heir to Floyd Mayweather, and he's coming back. And a lot of people say, oh, he's done. He's never been knocked out, but he's done. He should retire. What do you think do you think Mayweather's kind of behind that no losses?
Oh, 100%. But he's the one that created that. And a promoter bought into it, and then fighters bought into it, and everybody bought into it. And that kind of killed the sport because, like you said, like the best fighter in the world, they took their losses and they came back stronger. Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, all of them took a loss, and they give the public exciting fight, which that's what the public wants, and that's why boxing doesn't sell tickets, because the fights are not exciting.
Yeah.
And that's why Paul, in some sense, is good for boxing, because it's kind of exciting. A YouTuber that knock people out, I want to see what he's going to do against a legit fighter, right? Like, it's kind of exciting.
Him get knocked out.
Yeah, that's exciting to see him getting knocked out too, right? So he brings that thing back, and I think fighters, hopefully it's going to change, because the MMA, that's what they do. They don't care. Like, you lose, you win, you're on the card. Okay.
Nate Diaz is a journeyman. I mean,
You
Nate
know?
Diaz has half wins, half losses, but I'm gonna still pay to see Nate Diaz because he's one of my favorite fighters. Because
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
Now,
exciting.
the first fighter that kind of paid for that, that Mayweather-esque no losses was Jay Leon Love. When Jay Leon Love lost to Porgy Medina, but Porgy Medina was like a gatekeeper. He was a guy that, you're supposed to walk through. He comes in a straight line. He doesn't give you different looks, but he beat him stylistically by just straight pressure. And Jay Leon Love's career kind of just went downhill from there, because I think it just got into his head, and the people that you surround yourself. Now, when you took you took the decision loss, did you see people around you start to change?
Not really, because like in the gyms, everybody know who I am, know my skills, I spar with the top guys, and they see how I do with them. So they're like, that was just not your day. Because I remember the next day or the next week I go for sparring with someone, called me, they're like, how the hell did you lose that fight? I'm like, guys, I was just not ready. That's it. It's
I was watching the fight on Trilla, and I was just thinking, I was like, seeing your performance, I was like, no, this. I know, look, I don't have as many fights as you, but me fighting in 215 and coming back and fighting in late 217, I don't care how much sparring you do. I don't care how hard you train. And I'm somebody that always make weight. I don't wear a popcorn bag suit, none of that stuff. I don't do none of that stuff. And you just can't pull the trigger sometimes. I mean, you probably felt, I saw that in the fight, and I was like, no, you're slick. You catch guys with a lot of, right jabs and straight lefts all day. The guy that you fought wasn't on your level, but he was more active than you.
Yep.
Like, he was a guy that was more active.
Like you said, I could, like, I watched the fight, like when I lost, I was like, fuck, that's terrible. I lost and everything. It's a bad performance. It was my time to show my skills. And then I watched the fight. I'm like, it was actually a close fight. It's just that I was not busy enough. I make him miss a lot, and it doesn't seems that way for like the non-boxing like public. And it could have gone either way when you look about it. Like when they tried to find highlight of him connecting on me, they couldn't. And it was like me punching him. When they show the highlight of the fight, it's me punching him like clean, and he couldn't catch me clean,
And that's the funny thing is too, is, seeing that fight, I was just, if you got on the gas pedal the last 2 rounds, you would have had it in the bag. It would have been a straight, close, unanimous decision. It would have probably been 2 points. 2 points.
Yeah, I needed maybe 2 more rounds. Even gassed out, I would maybe win those 2 extra rounds. It was a 6th round. It was very tricky. They called me late 6th round. I like to take my time. I'm a slow pace. I like to counter, and I kind of had to rush because it was 6 rounds and I was short and I didn't have the right corner. The corner was rushing me. Bad advice. It was terrible. It was like a whole mix of circumstances that it was not going my way anyway.
Now, when I started, training in boxing, I like how you mentioned the word corner. When I started training, my coach was just always telling me, he said, damn, man, I wish I had you since 17, at least 17. He said, I got you at 25, but you can still learn and give guys trouble. But I could train you and I could help you make money to coach. And he gave me like this manual from 1933 of like how to second. It's a green and white book. He worked in the print shop. He used to give me things like this. And a lot of people don't know 65% of your fight is your corner. Yeah. Like if you have a corner, like for instance, I have, the fight I was talking about earlier, he worked my corner for kickboxing. I said, I've never it was situations where like I blew the first round out, I got dropped the second round, and third round I feel like I can rally up because I clearly lost from the middle of that round to the end. And I said, okay, well I could probably rally up, and then you turn around and you're like, yo, what do I do? And then it's just like, you there's no adjustment. So you definitely had that experience with the corner last minute because it was probably like things that are wrong. Now you just got to rely on yourself, and a lot of people don't realize like a bad corner or no corner. That situation. It adds a whole nother level of stress in that fight, right?
Yeah, you completely you lost. Like when you have a corner, your corner is your eyes, because when you fight, you don't see what's going on. You're in the action, right? You need someone with an external eyes that can tell you, hey, Fred is doing this, or stop doing what you're doing because it's not good. The only advice I get is like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you want to lose this fight? You got to throw punches, man. You got to throw punches, man. I'm like, all right, thank you. I know that's the rule of boxing, but like, my style.
Yeah.
I'm a slick fighter. I'm a counter. Like, I like to observe, take my, like, give me some more, and that was no strategic advice compared to what my former coach would do. It was all about strategy. He was a very smart guy.
And you speak the same language.
Exactly. I mean, even if we speak to me in English, sometimes we would even switch in English because sometimes it's easier now for me to speak English than French.
Yeah, because you've been here a long time, yeah.
Right. And like, but it's the mind, it's the vision of the ring, of the chess play, and all of that. That's what I need in my corner. I need people like that.
And the crazy thing about it, like me, cornering, even practicing in the gym with certain people, and like, the thing is, you should always, and this is how the quality of coaching and teachers has went down. We don't have too many teachers. I mean, we have cheerleaders, we have motivational speakers, and we have personal trainers that are in boxing. And that's where, see, we always complain about the talent pool in boxing, but the talent pool is also the reflection of the coaching and the teachers who are passionate, right?
Yes,
We've
sir.
seen how many times you've been in the gym and you see a guy get the living shit beat out of him, and the coach is just sitting there just looking like, speaking about another fight I saw that had 3 corners, Edgar Berlanga. No disrespect, to Berlanga, but his last fight, he had 3 men in the corner. And I said, well, what are these 3 men telling you? Because on the wheels, this guy's giving you a hard time. And that was right after the Steve Rose fight, right? So he had this fight with the dude he bit. And I was like, okay, so why is he getting so frustrated? Like, you should have an answer. So remember, we talked about, Anthony Yard and him having a fight. Now with Ntunde, now experience I get, but that was a battle of corners.
Yep.
That was a major battle of corners because I saw little things, right? I think I talked to him about it. I was in England, I talked to him about it. I said, okay, well, he was chest jabbing you a lot. Now, with good eyes, Buddy McGirt says, yo, you know what? He's kind of muscular. Make him work. Don't headhunt. He has good head movement, decent defense. He has that lead hand down, jab the chest. Now, when he's coming back to the corner, the corner should say, all right, yo, keep that lead hand up a little bit. Start parrying them shots a little bit more. Start fading him. Start jabbing to the body. He's hitting you here.
Mm-hmm.
That's taking the stamina out. You might not think it hurts now, but it's zapping your gas tank. We got to get to 12, and we got to get him out of here. We know that he has a stamina problem, but they're playing it safe with keeping a distance and using his jab. You know what I mean? And that's the downfall of boxing, is either inexperienced corners or bad corners itself. And I'm not saying Tunde's inexperienced, but Buddy McGirt is more experienced, and they learn from it. But,
it happened a lot. Like, when I watch Edgar fight, I mean, I know sparring and fight is different, but the fight doesn't reflect all Edgar's skills. When I went in the ring with him, we sparred 10, like a lot of rounds. I'm like, damn, this guy's skilled. He has power. He has a great jab, great footwork. But when he goes to the fight, the corner doesn't know how to handle him because he's young. He's a little bit crazy. He wants to knock out everybody. But there is a way to talk to a fighter. And I think he hasn't found the right corner for him. And
you know what?
The day he's going to find it, we're going to see the difference.
You have to see, and I'm not saying that he has yes men or passive guys. So it's the same issue with Wilder and Mark Breland, for instance. Mm-hmm. Mark Breland's passive. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's a laid back, he's a very nice guy, very intelligent. But me being a formal mental health worker, you have to know types of approaches. You got to be disciplinarian with some people. Some people, if I corner you, I don't need to yell at you because me yelling at you and telling you, oh, what the fuck's going on? What are you doing? That's not going to work for you.
Yes,
so I got to
sir.
go sit here and be like, okay, well, you got hit with that shot right there. Okay, cool. Start whatever it might be the situation. Okay, like I say,
There's a
step
way.
over.
Exactly. You understood everything. There's a way to talk to people.
Yeah, I would
A
take
different,
advantage of
different way to talk to different people. Exactly what you just explained.
But now you also, with the approach, have to have tools now. So if I tell you, okay, be more cerebral and slick, I'd be like, okay, this guy's only going to the left. Cool. Fake to your left, and then go to right, throw your right hook and straight left and double jab down the pipe. Because now, okay, this guy got to be set to punch. He can't punch and move. So I say, have him on here, give him something to think about. If I keep seeing you throw, like when I see with fights, even with him or anybody else, I tell him, yo, stop throwing one punch at a time. I don't care if you throw 7 jabs. Stop throwing one jab. He's getting your timing and you're not landing, right? But now we don't have so many, you know, and shout out to Mustafa again and Kevin Gleason. We used to talk about in the DMs and stuff about like, nobody's studying no more, right? Nobody's studying. You got guys that are used to training guys 126 pounds, now trying to train a light heavyweight to move and punch as much as a guy that's that little, instead of saying, well, no, that punch recovery, like my wingspan is 81.5.
Damn.
I can't, like I'm the same reach as almost Wilder. Like he got me by 1.5 inches. So, and I'm 6'1". So you know that I can't, Andy Dominguez. I can't box like 106-pound Andy Dominguez. My gas tank is not as charged as his.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't run an 18-minute, I think 5K. You run that shit in like 19 or 18 minutes. Come on.
But he's under 120 pounds.
Yeah. You can't move the same way. It's impossible.
My girl's 135. So a dude that small, that active, that volume, boom, 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 can't train anybody that way. But we have a problem with coaches today. So like, you're good with shoulder rolling, you got good eyes, good reflexes. I sparred you, then punched me in the face a couple of times. And the accuracy and time is different with you. You have some guys that are not as intelligent. You got to go now figure out, okay, this guy, he's not a thinker. So I got to get him in dog shape. I got to make him a brute. I got to say, stop worrying about precision. On the inside, punch his damn bicep, punch his shoulder, take the jab away, punch him in the hip, and then go back upstairs and slow him down. Don't try to be smarter than him, occupy the middle of the ring. The direction got to be this. So now, I'm sorry, going a little long-winded.
Right.
So now, you know, do you feel that even going to a couple of, you know, more in a decade, even your 40s, that you can still even compete at the high level that you're performing in right now compared to guys like Bernard Hopkins?
Yeah, I think, 40 is going to be my limit. I think at 39, 40, if I should have a title by that time, couple defense or something like this. And then after that, you know, I might retire. Well, I mean, I say that, but you never know. Yeah, you never know when to stop. You still have that love. You still have that. It will depend of my side life, you know, my private life, what happened in my life and things like that. But if things keep going that way, I keep competing as long as I can. I love it. I love competing at the highest level. I like it. That's what keeps me excited and alive. So, you know, we never know. But to be smart, I would say 40 is a good age to retirement.
And speaking about, you know, and the reason why I mentioned that, because we have Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. Now, look, I'm not going to say anything about, you know, hopefully it's not negative about Luis Ortiz. I'm really cool. You know, his promoter, his guy and his team follows me. Very nice guy. We had a good couple of talks. I would love to go and, you know, I might be crazy, but I might want to try to spar him one day. You know, I'd be very good learning experience, slick southpaw. But, you know, his real age, we already know about the Cuban age.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's after taxes. before tax.
Yeah, before tax. That's Cuban age. I had an interview with Laura. Interviewed Laura last week, and there's no way he's 5 years older than me. But besides that, we're seeing these type of fighters like Rigondeaux, Luis Ortiz, Laura, and they're passing that 40 plus, bracket, and it seems like they're getting stronger with age. Could you maybe attribute that to like maybe not, because those guys they can't speak English, and also too they're not living the nightlife, right? Do you feel like the fighters are cutting their like?
Yeah, Cuban fighters. I went to Cuba. You need to understand they live the simplest you can live. They don't need much. Even Rigondeaux that made money, he still live like he was in Cuba, eating organic, nice food. I don't think they're into the sugary stuff and soda, and they really eat clean. They don't party. They have family lives. Most of them, right? That's how it is. So that could be it. But also I want to say we in the future, like the technology we have today for recovery or all sort of medical thing is next level now. So you see those fighters performing like 40 plus because there is all of this. Like you can train like crazy. Yes, can go like crazy. You have your home sleeve for the legs to recover, or you have a sauna, portable sauna, whatever. You can have go steam room across the street, infrared sauna, things like that. So, I can attribute to this and the knowledge about like eating well and like, fueling your body the proper way, things like this. So, I mean, when you look at Hopkins, 58 something, like, yeah, it's doable if you take care of your body. But I mean, for the bigger weight class, at least, I would say from super middle to heavy. But before that, it's a lot of reflexes, brain, like speed and connection, and like your muscle have to be like sharp and stuff. So that's a different thing.
Now, and that's funny too. You went to Cuba, and it's like guys like that, they still kill chickens with their bare hands over there.
You know what I mean? It's wild. I've seen gyms. They told me this is the same floor since like 1975 or something. They didn't change the floor. The floor is fucked up. You can break your ankle when you box. They're not gonna change it.
Well, that's why they have the elite footwork they do. I mean,
oh my God.
How was it for you? Now you being from France, and now see, I call you like a hybrid because it's like the conditioning of Europe, but the slickness of East Coast fighter. So going to Cuba, what did they think? Like you're from France, and you see people from France, England.
Yeah. They got confused. They thought it was gonna be easy work, and they sent me like a whatever average fighter because over there they spar 3 rounds only. So their fighters, nobody's gonna give you more than 3 rounds. So they send me the first 3 rounds. A guy average is good, but he's not that good. And they're like, oh shit, okay. And then they send me a beast that was hiding in the closet, came all biceps bald. He was like, the guy was doing only bodybuilding, super slick, and still I kick his ass. And they were like, okay, you're good fighter. Like the French is good. That was funny.
Now, can you do you speak any other languages?
I understand my way in Spanish, like 80%. I understand what they say, but that's it. English and French. That's my only languages.
Now, how was it? Meeting Rigondeaux and training with Rigondeaux. Like, how is this? Because I don't understand. I don't understand Spanish. How was it work with him and his personality? Like,
so we trained like a couple days in Miami, in Florida at what's his gym, Mondo Boxing with Pedro Diaz. Basically, you don't talk, you just train. We ran together, hit the bag together. We talked a little bit at the end when we did the abs and everything. I took picture with him. It was cool. He speak a little English, so he could understand what I was trying to say. I was like, "You, my favorite fighters. I'm basing my boxing a lot about your footwork and your defense," and he was happy. Then he watched me do the shadow box, and he was like giving me thumbs up and stuff like that. So yeah, it was cool.
It's funny. He actually liked one of my posts on Instagram too. Like you see how I move too. He was like, put the fire in emoji because Rigondeaux. I feel with guys like Rigondeaux fighting Lomachenko, like I thought that was a horrible fight for him to take because Lomachenko was three weight classes bigger than him, and
that was a bad business move. But like, he still stay my favorite fighters. People are like, yeah, he got beat up by Lomachenko. I'm like, yeah, it was not a fair fight. Stop with this. You know?
But he wasn't. But honestly, from a fighter perspective, did he really get beat up, or did he get outmanned? I think he got outmanned.
Yeah, that's what it is. Guys got bigger and things like that.
But I don't know about the quitting situation. Is like.
He'd rather quit than getting ridiculous, like maybe getting knocked out or something like that. It was a smart move. You know, oh, my hand hurt. Let's stop this shit.
So, but now with your promotion right now, right? How where do you see the future of your promotion going? You know, so far.
I don't have no promotion. I'm a free agent. They just call me like this. I'm lucky to have a agent that work with me.
I mean, excuse me, let me reword it. Your brand.
Oh, my brand, Boxing Culture?
Yeah, Boxing Culture.
Listen, when people are gonna join, we need more fighters to join the movement, more people involved in boxing to make things change. And then once I get all those people that I want to have, we're gonna get you on board, maybe to animate the podcast and things like that. And from there, then we're going to all sit together and see why, because you have great ideas and we need to bring people with good ideas too and organize ourselves to make boxing different and change it the best we can, you know.
Now, you know, have you had any fighters now that want you to kind of step away from competing to like maybe being a second and cornering? Have you been getting those type of offers? Have you been getting those type of calls?
What do you mean corner them?
Meaning like as of like have any camps ever called you as of maybe being part of like different camps, cornering or you know, or being...
I mean they called me Berlanga called me to be sparring partner, but that's about it. Marcus Brown long time ago needed me to work with him, and at the time my trainer refused. And now I'm going to try to get in Bivol camp to help him spar if he fight one of those lefty. I don't remember if it's Zurdo, Ramirez, or some of them tall lefty. If he fight one of these guys, I'm going to try to get myself into the camp.
Now, if you do get good work, you know, with Bivol, let's say, you know, he's fighting, you know, I think he's not fighting Better Beef, I don't believe. I think Better Beef is focusing on Anthony Yard.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but they're speaking about actually in October of him fighting Anthony Yard.
Great.
For, you know, they want to unify now. So he has all 3 belts. Bivol has the other belt, right? I don't know if he has the WBA or something.
WBO,
like
I think the brown belt or something.
He has WBO belt that he beat Canelo for.
Yeah.
I mean, he kept his belt because Canelo wanted the belt.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, him sparring, let's say sparring him, let's say, you know, of course the work is going to be good and you see some things, which you feel like that might actually put you in the mix in the light heavyweight division of now people now seeing you as what you really are, a serious contender.
Unfortunately, I wish it would be like this because I should be already fighting top fighters with my skill set, right? But it's the box rec rankings. You need to get some points. You need to go high up in ranking for the fighters because it doesn't make, like, I'm not going to fight a fighter that is ranked 1,000 something on box rec for shit money, right?
That's like me. I'm like 1,000.
You know, it doesn't make sense. So the same for the number 50. Why you would fight someone like me if we don't pay him like big payday? And I don't have the promoters to do that. So it's not going to happen. But in terms of skill, if I'm in top shape, I'm in shape to do 10, 12 rounds, put me in the mix with whoever. I'm ready, you know, because I believe in my skills. I think I have the skills that it takes, but then the conditioning and the mental endurance is something else always. And as long as you haven't been there 8, 9, 10 rounds, you don't know. So there's also a step to follow and I don't want to rush, you know.
It's crazy that you speak about mental stamina, right? Like, I remember I agreed to an exhibition in Jamaica Boxing Club, you know, unsanctioned, exhibition. You know, when they say exhibition, you know.
It just doesn't count on the record. That's it.
Yeah. But, I had had a fight with a dude that was he had 12 amateur fights. I had to my one in boxing and one in kickboxing. And I came from driving down, seeing my grandfather in the hospital in Georgia. Wasn't in shape. Went to Mustafa. I paid Mustafa for some pad work. Nothing. We had some sparring in Mendez against one of the Ness guys, another light heavyweight. But, it wasn't nothing major. It was weeks before. And I came up like no sleep. I went to bed. I got me some water. I went to Modell's, something to wear under my shorts, you know what I mean? And, came in and they snuck an extra round on me. It was supposed to be 3 rounds and it was 4. And then there was a crowd and everything like that. And I wasn't in shape. It's crazy. The mental endurance sometimes outweighs your physical endurance because you're mentally going to be like, yo, I'm going to make this guy miss. I'm going to make him pay. Yes. I don't care how tired I am. And I'm going to show my first round and 4th round look the same.
It's all about your head. Like boxing is it's 80% mental. Of course, you need a certain conditioning to go through the round, but 80%, that's what's going to make the difference. If your opponent is in shape, but mentally you're stronger and you guys are the same shape, you're going to win.
And that's, and speaking about that, I work with some underground guys in different crews, shout out to QFC. We do a lot for the community. Just a bunch of guys that fought amateur. We're pretty much nomadic guys that have fought in fights and exhibitions, boxing, kickboxing, but we all box. And, we talked about pay earlier. It seems like a lot of the underground, tournaments, guys are fighting for almost as much money as some professional, prospects. There's something going on in RBX.
I didn't know there was money involved in that shit. I might migrate.
Yeah, no, but what is the funny thing about it? I saw one fight. I saw one retired professional that I'm not gonna mention his names that we both know, and I saw him actually compete in one of those. He wasn't supposed to, but the grand prize is $5,000. Okay. So if guys beat each other, and it's brutal because a lot of times a lot of those fights end in knockout. Because you got there's levels to it, right? So, what's your opinion as you being a professional about the underground circuit and what you've seen? You've seen, underground fights in Europe and America. America's a little bit different in the Bronx and different places. What's your opinion about that?
Listen, I'd rather people fight with gloves and things like that than trying to kill each other. That's my view on that. Keep them in shape in a sport. So, okay, it can be dangerous. Some guy can get knocked out, but it can happen in the gym. Same thing. I've seen some sparring session where people and the coaches around are not so smart and they're not going to stop somebody that get knocked out. They're going to say, keep going, and that's when the accident happens. So, if they know what they're doing, there is a staff that say, okay, when it's too much, there's knockout, everybody out. And, why not? I'm not against it. I'm not saying, yeah, everybody should do it, but know what you get involved in. That's it.
So our guys at QFC, what we're trying to do, since a lot of us had gym experience, my guy, Anthony Lane, Bloodstain, he's fought MMA, boxing, different things. He's actually had beef with John Jones, and that was a funny situation when he was on YouTube. They locked him in a room and,
interesting.
They gave him a talking to, and he fought actually on an unsanctioned fight with Obasi. This guy back in the day, his name Obasi, Sean Obasi. So we're thinking about going to gym to gym. So it's QFC versus this gym. So kind of a merge of underground mixed with amateur and pros, and seeing who can get the best of who in gyms. And I think that
I like that,
because what we're doing is a lot of underground guys are jealous of us now because they want a part of it, and we whip their ass. Every time we get crew, we all whip their ass because they're not trained.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is that we want to separate ourselves and go to gym to gym. I think that might start pushing and getting attention to even in the professional ranks, even people, because it's wait a minute, these guys are doing this, and these guys are getting paid thousands of bucks. So why are they not getting paid? And they're on TV. You know what I'm saying? So I think boxing has to go a little rogue. What do you think?
It has to be rogue. I had so many ideas. I think things can move very quick with YouTube, social media. We don't need, of course we need promotion and things like that, but we can do it without them. right? If we organize whatever kind of fight and it's show on YouTube and all the fans and supporter of each fighters go and pay the pay-per-view $3-5 each, and there is 100,000 viewer, the 5-6, or let's say the 10 fighters on the card plus the staff organizing can eat pretty well.
Like guys are like just like Google Pay or something. Pay with Google Pay.
You know what I mean? Like $5 streaming, you have 100,000 viewers. That's $500,000 that you share between what, 20, 30 people. That's big money. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's more money than some people would even make at a job per year.
Yeah, exactly. And there is no promoter involved and things like this. Oh shit, I forgot this. All right, we're gonna have to cut shortly. I didn't see the time go.
Okay, yeah, me too. I got my show in a half hour.
All right, so let's conclude with we was talking about boxing culture at some point too. We was talking with boxing culture. I don't know what we were saying because
the future of boxing culture in regards of the community and yes, where the direction is going to, even with youth.
Yeah. So what I was saying, I was talking to Austin Trout, because Austin Trout was talking about the business of boxing and how the fighters was managing the money and how they end up broke and things like that. And it was advising to invest. So I did a little video about it and I posted, and then he reached out. He's like, hey, what you guys trying to do? I explained him, look, boxing culture is trying to help the fighters to develop and maybe change the way boxing works and suppress the middleman and create a community where maybe eventually, like the big goal, like you said, would be to have a union for boxing. And he was like, hey man, that's really cool. When you guys have your things together, hit me up, and he would like to join. So before we get some guy like him to join the thing, I need to have a strong team, and that's what I'm trying to build. Like I told you, I want you on board, I want all the people. And once you get, like, I'm talking with the owner of BXN TV, you know who that is? The TV network.
I heard of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
so I'm in talk with him and things like this. And if he would join the network, that would be great. And from him, we build up a team where, okay, now we have a certain legitimacy to say, we go to commissions around the state and say, okay, we want rules, we want this, and who knows, that's how it starts.
And also too, I definitely will get my guys of Queens Fight Club involved too. We do things at the sitting down.
Because that's part of the project too, to have guys like this involved in boxing, trying to change things,
Yeah, because our thing is like really hands up and guns down. So we bring people to like different venues and we perform. Like now through SA Boxing, we can't charge, but at the end of the day, we give other businesses opportunities to make money. Yep. So even though we don't make money ourselves as competing on the rules, we put on showcases and exhibitions for people and very technical ones and people and go into it. So I think, us, being more for the community helps out in the world of boxing, because now what happens is that now they want in because they know that the inner city brings the next generation of fighters in.
Yes, for sure. We need this because what you guys are doing is it's creating a community, and everything starts with community, everything.
But Fred, once again, thank you for having me on Boxing Culture.
No, thank you.
I definitely appreciate it. Check us out on Bars and Hoops Radio. Definitely love to have you back.
Tell us a bit more about you, where we can find you, your Instagram, things like this, so people can follow you. I'm going to put the link anywhere, but tell us.
Okay, you guys can follow me on Instagram under known_as_. The nose hunter. So, yeah, so known as the nose hunter, just put an underscore between each one. Bars and Hoops Radio. You can look that up on Instagram as well, Bars and Hoops Radio. Free app on Apple and Google to download unlimited classic hip hop, modern hip hop, and podcasts as well. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Les. Appreciate it.
All right.
Peace.
That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick. Man. do. Bad, bad.